Hello students. So now today I'm going to start this chapter for you, chapter number 1, and last segment of this page, page number 5. Page number 5, bottom 2 lines. There it is. Aram and Murad tried to find the horse, and soon Murad was able to find it and brought it back. Then there was a certain question in the last 2 or 3 lines. Please follow it. Page number 5. I know where you are to just hide this horse. I know a place I would hide there, hide the horse. Oh, it suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time, and he had come for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. I was also crazy about riding a horse. That's why it was so. Okay, let's have a chance. Let's have. Oh, who said anything about stealing the horse? Now you can see the dialogue between the two. Who said anything about stealing the horse? When I asked you how long ago did you steal this horse, then he was quite angry. Hey, who said anything about stealing the horse? Anything? Sorry. How long did you begin riding the horse? It was just there. Now come to page number 6. Page number 6. Now until this morning, not until this morning I have been riding it. Oh, are you telling the truth? Of course not. Means I'm not telling you the truth. Means I have stolen this horse long ago. But if we are found out, that's what you are to say. Okay? Means he wanted that they both should be on a consensus about if anyone asks about stealing the horse, right? Their views should not differ, otherwise they will be caught. If we are found out, if we are caught, then you are to say, okay, we have just taken this horse just today. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. Okay, you are to say we started this morning. All right, I said. He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fetwazian. This was the barn. He walked the horse quietly to the barn. Barn stands for the storehouse, where often the crops, the ready crops, or you can say the seeds, etc., manures, etc., they are kept. So I walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard. Deserted, no one used to go there. Absolutely isolated place, unvisited, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer, Fetwazian. It was the property of Fetwazian. There are some oats and some dry alfalfa. Only some oats. Oats, you understand? It's a type of crop. And alfalfa. What do you mean by alfalfa? These are the seeds of alfalfa, which is generally put in the vegetables when we cook, right? There it is. It is perennial flower plants for legume family Fabaceae, and you can just take a complete knowledge about this particular crop. Organic alfalfa seed for a Fab India store here, means it is a seed generally which is put in the while cooking the food. So it is very much prevalent in south. Okay, so in the barn they were lying. We began walking home. It was not easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. Means earlier horse showed some sort of reactions, but at first it wanted to run wild, as I have told you. Then I have a way with the horse, na? I have already told you I have a way with the horse. I know how to tackle the horses. That's what I am quite expert at. Okay, now what? I have with us, I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me. Okay, how do you do it? I asked. I said, I have an understanding with a horse, you know. But what sort of understanding? I said. A simple and honest one, he said. Well, I said, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse. Will you please make me understand all such things so that I can also be able to make an understanding? That's good. You are too small. You are still a small boy, he said. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. Okay, I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Khosrow came to our house. That afternoon, who came to our house? Uncle Khosrow. Wow, Uncle Khosrow was there. Let us reach Uncle Khosrow. There, he was at my house. Why did he come? For coffee and cigarette. He sat in the parlor, our drawing room, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. Remembering the old country? Remembering the place where we belonged to, our native place. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro. John Byro, an Assyrian, he belonged to Syria, who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. Since he was the only Assyrian in this area, so he could not talk to anyone, he had to learn Armenian language so that he can make friends here. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco. My mother brought coffee and tobacco for the visitor. As you know, we were very much famous for our hospitality also. The Garoglanian family was much famous for their hospitality also. Okay, let us move ahead. And then at last, sighing sadly, he took a big sigh, big heave, and said, My horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. Oh, my horse, which was stolen last. Oh God, how can it be? How can it be so? Well, he just explained his problem to Uncle Khosrow and to my mother. My Uncle Khosrow became immediately irritated, right? And shouted, Aye, it is no harm. What is the loss of a horse? Nothing is there. Haven't we all lost our homeland? Means you have only lost your horse, but look at us, we have lost our motherland also. We are just living at a very, you can say, strange land. Oh, what is this crying over a horse? Means there is no use crying over a horse. That may be all right for you, a city dweller, you say. John Byro said, okay, you are a city dweller and there is no problem for you if your horse is stolen or anything happens to you. But what is the loss? But what about my saray? What of my saray? Saray means the horse cart, or wagon, you can say. What good is a saray without a horse? Means my saray is of no use. My saray is of no use without horse. Oh. Pay no attention to it. My Uncle Khosrow roared again. I walked 10 miles to get here, John Byro said. Means I had to come on foot. You have got legs. You have legs. My Uncle Khosrow shouted. You have got legs. Come on, you can do it. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. Hey, pay no attention to it. My Uncle Khosrow roared. That horse cost me $60. $60, you can say, the farmer said. I spit on money. I never pay any attention to money. I never consider money anything important in my life, my Uncle Khosrow said. Means all the points put up by the man were categorically denied by, you can say, opposed by Uncle Khosrow. This was not good on his part, at least. Chalo, let us say he then when he got up and stalked out of the house. Who walked out of the house? Yes, John Byro. John Byro stood up and started going out of the house. I can't stay here with this man who even doesn't listen to anyone. Slamming the screen door, then my mother explained to him, listen, Mr. Byro, he has a gentle, good heart. Means Uncle Khosrow is pure at heart, she said. It is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. Homesick means he has come far away from his homeland, from his motherland, and that's why he is a bit, you can say, annoyed. The farmer went away. But I ran over to my cousin Murad. Means I had come to know that the horse had been stolen for the last 1 month, and it was the horse of John Byro. Okay, he was sitting under a peach tree. Who? Murad was sitting under a peach tree, trying to repair the hurt wing of a young robin. This was the young robin. He was repairing the wings of that young robin, which could not fly. He was talking to the bird, putting the bird in his hand. Na? He was talking to the bird, keeping the bird in his hand. What is it? He said. When he saw me, he said, "Hey, what is it?" The farmer John Byro, I said. He visited our house and he wants his horse. उसे अपना घोड़ा चाहिए. Come on, I know. You have had it a month, na? 1 month for 1 month he is there with you. But look at the selfishness of the boy. He said, I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride. He says, only you will return the horse after I learn how to ride the horse. Please don't return it. It will take you a year to learn to ride. Means you may take a long time. My cousin Murad said, we could keep the horse for a year, no problem. I said. My cousin Murad leaped to his feet, jumped to his feet. What? Are you inviting a member of the Garoglanian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner. Anyway, he had already kept it for 1 month. But he said, if you couldn't learn for a year, how could I just manage it for 1 year? No, it cannot be. You are expecting from me to steal the horse? Never it would be. Okay, when will you return? I asked. When will you return? In 6 months at the latest. Means okay, for 6 months we will not return. He threw the birds into the air. This was the robin whose wings were repaired by him, and then the bird tried hard. Almost fell twice, but at last he flew away, high and straight. Early every morning for 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard where we were hiding it and rode it. Means consecutively we went on practicing riding on the horse. Right? For the next 2 weeks. We were hiding it in the barn and then rode it in the morning. And every morning the horse, when it was my turn to ride alone, it leaped over the grapevines and small tree and threw me down and ran away. All the time it had been the practice. The horse never allowed me to have a ride on his back. Nevertheless, I hoped in time to learn how to ride the way my cousin Murad rode. One morning, on the way to Fatwazian's deserted vineyard, we ran across. Oh God, what happened? One morning, on the day to Fatwazian's deserted vineyard, we ran into the farmer John Byro, who was on his way to the town. God, when we were going to return the horse, going to hide the horse, immediately who came from the other side? John Byro was coming. Hey, let me do the talking. Who said? Bharat said, let me do the talking. I have a way with farmers also. Hey, good morning, John Byro, my cousin Murad said to the farmer. The farmer studied the horse eagerly, very consciously. Good morning, son of my old friends. Son of my friends. What is the name of your horse? Me? He immediately recognized his horse. What's the name of your horse? My heart. My heart. Oh, a lovely name. My cousin Murad said, oh, it's lovely name for a lovely horse. I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from me many weeks ago. Means I could swear that this is my horse. May I look into his mouth? Of course, of course. Why? Why did he look into the mouth? Because a horse is recognized by its teeth. So may I look into his mouth? He said. Of course, Murad said. The farmer looked into. Now look, the mouth of the horse. He opened it and looked his teeth. Tooth for tooth, he said. Means same to same. I would swear it is my horse if I didn't know your parents. Oh God. Tooth for tooth. If I didn't know that you are the sons of my friends, then I would have claimed it that it was my horse. The fame of your family for honesty is well known to me, yet the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart, he said. Oh God, what a fame. What a fame of his family, of his tribe. He said, if I didn't know that you belong to Garoglanian family, I would have claimed it. That this was my horse. This you could call it the twin of my horse. Since you belong to a family which is worldwide known for its honesty, I would never claim it. And he said, good day, my young friend. Okay, good day, John Barrow, he said. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Barrow's vineyard and put it in the barn. Next day, we returned the horse. The dogs followed us around without making a sound. Means some dogs were there. Some dogs were also there who were following us. But what? I just said, hey. I said, dogs. I whispered. I thought they would bark. No, they would at somebody else. I have a way with dogs also. My cousin Murad put his arms around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then we went away. Means he loved the horse, and then he went away. That afternoon, John Barrow came to my house again. In our house, in his surrey, this time in his surrey, and showed my mother the horse that he had been stolen and returned. But look at his remarks. Quiet. Oh God, man, your horse has been returned. This is what they are. I don't know what to think, he said. The horse is stronger than ever. It was a remarkable thing, madam, he said to my mother. Ma'am, it was remarkable. My horse has been better tempered, means he is well behaved and stronger than ever. I thank God. My uncle Khosrow, who was in the parlor at the time, became irritated again, as he was as was usual. My uncle Khosrow, who was in the parlor, became irritated and shouted, "Quiet, man! Quiet! Quiet! Your horse has been returned. Pay no attention to it." So it ends on a funny note. So these two children, these two boys, Murad and Young, anyhow, they were afraid whether the image of their family would be spoiled, and thus they returned the horse to the real owner. And just they took the horse out of their innocence, considering it could not be called a theft until or unless we sell the horse for money. If you are taking it for riding purpose, it would not be called a theft. Anyway, this was simply an innocence, and this story, and when they came to know the value of their family is at stake, the worth of their family is at stake, they returned the horse peacefully. So, my dear children, that's the end of the story. Thanks a lot.